Hi, everyone. We're here today with the Carver Crusaders. We have Coach Mark Schoen, and we have Ben Vitale, assistant coach. How we doing, everybody?
Good. How we doing, guys?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Oh,
Good
and
afternoon,
make
Coach.
sure to have your mouth close to the mic. That way we can all hear you guys. All right, so this is 40 Sports Talk with Catherine. Oh, Catherine Conley, aka KC, with Antron Peebles. I gotta think of a nickname. That's to be determined. Justin Ferrer, aka Sportsmaster, Sean Sylvia, and Caleb Tremblay. And as Sean mentioned, we have the Carver Crusaders boys basketball team with our 2023 Coach of the Year, Mark Schoen, and assistant coach, what's his name?
Ben Vitale.
All right. So I want to start with you, Coach. So what does winning this award mean to you?
It was a great honor. The ceremony was really good, and being in the same room with a couple of the folks who were winning the Lifetime Achievement Awards was really inspirational to hear their stories and how many years they put into their respective sports. And there was a great group of folks who were nominated for that. I know it was Andrew McDonald from our league, who's a great coach over at East Bridgewater, and then we had Coach Holden, who won a state championship. So to even be nominated with a group like that was very gratifying, and then to win it was a real honor because coming out of a difficult league like we do in the South Shore League, I think it's testament to how difficult that league is that someone with a 13-7 record can win an award up against the state champion. So it was very rewarding, and I think it was great that the committee looked at that and realized the accomplishment that we had put in coming out of that league. So it was a really very much an honor. So I appreciate it.
Justin?
What do you think is the best part of winning your award?
Well, you get a nice piece of hardware on the mantelpiece. That's always a nice thing. It is nice to get individual awards, but it's certainly not about that. The steak tips were really good too at the dinner. That was the best part. No, it's very gratifying to win an individual award, but it's certainly more about the team and about the group of folks we put in place. It's really a collective thing. And I look at it as a group Coach of the Year award for all the folks that we have on our coaching team, which is my JV coach, Steve Kane, freshman coach, Tony Vitale, who is Ben's dad, and then our volunteer coaches, Chris Ventola, Rob Rooney, and Ben. It's really a collective win.
Yeah, I actually wanted to know, Ben, while you were playing high school for Carver, did you learn anything under Coach Schoen?
Unfortunately, I had another head coach at the time. Coach Schoen took over 2 years after I graduated. So Coach Schoen was my coach growing up, though. He coached our travel teams with my dad growing up. He was the freshman coach before he got the varsity job, and honestly, he's up there for top 3 coaches that I've had a lot of coaches between different sports, college sports. He's up there not only just how he knows basketball, but how he carries himself as a person. And I think that just carried over into him taking over the team this year and us, him winning that award and us as a team really just having a positive year.
All right, so how did you guys prepare for the upcoming games?
I think this is a great one for Ben to handle. Ben was really really a big part of our preparation. Certainly we would look at film. We would talk about previous games we've played with against these teams, and what their tendencies are and what we need to run on game planning individually for each team. But Ben can talk a little bit about the video piece.
Yeah, so we used Huddle for our video clips. We'd go back to previous games, whether it was earlier in the year, we play our conference twice, or if it had to be the year before or a game a couple weeks ago if the team played someone else. we just clip a few things we saw, whether it was plays from them offensively. If we were in the clips, how we played defense, picked on certain people and how they played defense, hold them accountable to where they should be on the court at specific times. I feel like it's tough for the high school kids. The ones that are super into basketball really enjoyed it. I thought they would ask questions during the film sessions. Others kind of just there, but they did. I feel like the whole team as a group really locked in the film sessions, and I thought that was really important.
Yeah, and prepping with video is an important thing because you can show tendencies of the other team, but you can also, like Ben said, you can highlight what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, and we had a good balance there too. We didn't just clip a bunch of things and say you guys are not doing this right. It was like this is a positive thing. Let's do this again. But I think it was great for the kids to hear Ben's input as a current player on what he was seeing in the clips.
I've also got a question. Since basketball is a very team-oriented sport, how did the team come together?
So this group of kids has actually been playing together for a long time. So we're really this past season we had a lot of juniors on the team. We only had four seniors, three of which have played together for a while. But the junior class, they've played a lot of sports together in town. We're a small town, and these kids have played multiple sports together since they were probably in T-ball together. So I think that's really the biggest thing in a small town is those kids grow up together, and that's huge. And sometimes it can be a good thing because they're really bonded and they're really close friends. Other times they may have had too much of each other by the time they get to high school, and you get a little bit cliquey and stuff like that. But we had some ups and downs during the season too with coming together as a team, like all teams do, I think. We had a couple of bad losses where we had to sit down as a group, and we maybe Ben can react a little bit to this too, but we had a few meetings during the season where we sat down as a group and we just put everything out on the table, and coaches, we took responsibility for some of the things that we didn't think we were doing well, and we asked the players to take responsibility for that too, and I think that was really good. Do you want to speak about that after the Mashpee game, Ben?
Yeah, after the Mashpee game, Mashpee was a team in our league that hadn't won when we went down to Mashpee to play them, and whenever we make a trip across the bridge, it's always a tough game. We said that going into the game. We knew it was going to be a tough game, even though we had been successful so far during the season. Mashpee, not so much, and they just really gave us our best shot. They ended up beating us on their home court. It was their first win in the league of the season. It was important for them. They were super excited after the game, and for us, it was really just a shot in the heart. Our players were in the dumps, coaching staff in the dumps, wondering what we could have done differently in the game, before the game, and at the practice afterwards the next day, just had a team meeting and really just laid it out. Questions like, who do we want to be as a team? Where do we want to be going forward? We thought we had, and we still think we have, a group returning next year that can really make a push for a state championship, whether it's at Division IV level or not. And just after that loss, just coaches coming in, throwing in different opinions on how we felt, like Coach said, taking accountability for things we did. And the players kind of just sat there and listened. From a coaching view, it was kind of, we were like, did it really serenade with them? Did that really help them? And you could say it did.
Well, I think
that week was a tough week.
Yeah, we
had
a great week of practice that week after that meeting, and came back, and the next game we beat Rockland at home, which hasn't happened very often in our history, and end up winning the league, because of that win. So it was, it's a difficult thing to manage, getting kids to come together as a group. Like you guys said, it's a team sport, but you're dealing with a lot of individual personalities. But I think that meeting was really a turning point for us in the season, and we were able to finish the season very strong after that.
I got a question, Mr. Antron speaking. Peebles, I know I hear you all keep saying team, and that's my motto to life: team. Together, everyone achieves more. I use that acronym all the time, and like you said, sometimes you don't know where your team's going. And at a point when you get beat by a team that's lesser than you may think that you are, and you should beat them and get beat by them, it takes a lot out of you. How did you, like you say, you got those guys back, into integrity? What do we want to do? Who's going to be accountable for this? We got to look inside of ourselves. How did you, when they bounced back and got their victory after, how did they respond after they got that win? They got their win, and they say, "Okay, we're all right."
Yeah,
all right.
That's exactly what happened. I mean, we were all down, like Coach said. We were all really down after that match game, and that's a long ride for us. It's over the bridge. It's an hour and 15-minute ride. That was not a pleasant ride on the way back home on the bus. And we were fortunate that week that we didn't have a Tuesday game. We had a game off, a night off on that Tuesday, so we didn't play Rockland until the following week.
Okay.
And we, after that meeting on the Monday, we brought in a few different drills in practice, and then Ben brought in a couple of drills that he had done in college, and we just tried to do some different things and have a good positive vibe around practice that week, which we did. It was our best week of practice. And then I think they would, I think we didn't realize after the match game, we thought the league was all done. We weren't going to be able to win the league. But after we looked at the standings again, we realized we could get a share of the championship if we beat Rockland. And then all of a sudden it was like, all right, this is our immediate goal. Let's go get this done. And to beat Rockland at home and to win a share of the league was special, and the kids recognized that.
Was it a lot of pointing fingers? Was some fingers being pointed? As far as the kids, because it's hard sometimes. We start pointing fingers when we're not winning.
Now they were certainly pretty good at taking accountability. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Accountability. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have to take our first break. You are listening to 40 Sports Talk here at 1320 AM WARA. We are talking with the Carver High School Crusaders boys basketball team with Coach Mark Schoen, our Coach of the Year. So, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, all one word, 40 Sports Talk. Call it at 508-222-1320. We will be right back right after these messages.
All right, welcome back to 40 Sports Talk with the coaches of the Carver Crusaders. I have a question here for both of the coaches. Who inspired you to coach?
Well, I was very lucky actually growing up. I had a lot of really good youth coaches who were great, and I actually started coaching myself when I was probably like 14 or 15 years of age, just doing intramural stuff like that. I always loved coaching, but as I mentioned at the award ceremony, Rico Cabral was my biggest mentor, and he was my coach at Massasoit Community College. And I think, as I mentioned, I played at Massasoit with Ben's father, Tony. So I've known Ben's dad since we played together in the long time ago now, in the late '80s.
Small world.
But Rico was a great guy, and as I mentioned there before, he was one of those guys who was a really good coach, and we knew that at the time. We really liked playing for him, but some of the life lessons that we learned from him, I don't think we realized at the time how important they were. And as young men, we were just going through the motions as college athletes. And then I think as we grew up a little bit, as we got to have lives and families of our own, we really realized how important that mentorship was from Rico. And he was definitely probably the first person that really got me thinking about getting into coaching. And that's what I try and do with my coaching. It's not so much about the wins and the losses. And it's not so much about being quote unquote friends with the players. It's like my hope would be that 5 years after high school, 10 years after high school, that they would look back and say like maybe I learned something from this guy, and that's what
Right.
what I try and do too.
Right, or even come back and coach with you.
Yeah, like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, it's all about learning lessons, man. Like this is life lessons through sports. That's what I learned. It is equivalent to life, man. You learn a lot of stuff. When you're playing sports, teamwork. Like I said, togetherness, and you'll win more when you're together and learning those life lessons. I'm looking at the timeline.
Did you want to answer that question, Ben, too?
Oh, yeah, sure. Little tidbit, I also played for Coach Rico Cabral.
Okay.
He coached my dad and Mark at Massasoit when he was younger, right?
Yep.
30s probably.
Yep.
And he was my coach at Dean College my freshman year. Good coach, definitely. Same things Mark was saying about him. Just not only a good coach, but, a good mentor and a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess for me, coaching-wise, not really that I looked up to anyone in particular on why I wanted to coach, but I knew I had a good mind for the basketball game. And I really I love being a mentor to younger students, younger kids. I just want to make a positive impact on other people's lives. So I thought that was the best way for me to do it.
Absolutely.
And Ben was always one of those kids who we knew he was going to be a coach right from the get-go. Yeah. Even like in fourth grade travel, he would be one of those like coaches on the court guys. So I knew Ben was going to be a coach, and it's very gratifying to have his first coaching gig be on my staff, which is great.
Right. Yeah, proteges, huh? I was going to ask you. So, 2020 is when you became the head coach of Carver, right? 2020 was when you started your camps, also.
Yep.
Does that help you? Did that help you in Carver? I'm in Middleborough, so I know Carver's pretty small.
That's right.
Your camps started in 2020, also. Does that help you see the athletes coming through that town with the camps? Does that help you get to see what's coming up the pipeline, the athletes in Carver? Because it's a small town, you don't have much to choose from.
That's right.
So, you have to be in tune with the town and the athletes. Does that help you, find athletes in the city or around the area?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the biggest things that I really wanted to do when I became the head coach, was really to get the community much more involved.
Absolutely.
And so aside from the camps, we also try and do some clinics. We try and have the younger kids, the youth kids, come to our games. They stand out on the court with us when we're doing the national anthem and that kind of stuff. And that's all really important. And you really want those kids to look up to your high school kids and to aspire to become those high school kids.
Right.
But the camp is great. Not only does it make the connection between the youth players and the high school players, But the high school players love it. We were actually talking this year about maybe not doing it this year, just because of time-wise and stuff like that. And the players were like, no, we love this.
Yeah.
We want to do it. They're signing autographs for the younger kids and stuff like that. That's fun for the high school kids to have those kids look up to them. And we do the camp purely as a fundraiser, so no one gets paid for it. We all volunteer our time, coaches, counselors. So the kids are the players are volunteering their time because they really love to do it. It's really big, and we've sold the camp out the last couple of years.
That's
and
awesome.
It's a fun week.
That's awesome. When does that camp start? I see. I was looking at information. June 19th.
June 19th. Yeah, we're doing the first week out of school. School's out early this year, so the kids can get right out of school. And one of the things we've always had, whatever week you pick in the summer, there's always going to be some people who are on vacation and can't make it. So we thought first week out of school, maybe we'll get a good number, and we did. We're basically maxed out already. We got a wait list going if anyone else wants to jump on.
So it's June 19th on Thursday, and June 22nd.
Yep.
8:30 to 12 p.m.
Yep.
12 p.m. That's awesome, man. Any of the kids in the Carver area come out and be part of that, because you got a good coach, got some coaches trying to get some skills right for these young men and young girls also.
Actually, the girls team run their own camp.
Their own camp, okay.
Yeah, and Coach Pont is a really good coach over at with the girls program.
Okay.
I don't have the details of his camp, but he also runs a very good camp too for the girls.
Trying to help you out, Coach. Throw your little Bog City basketball camp in there, man. That's what's up, man. Good things going on in Carver.
I actually really want to know what is your favorite songs to jam to?
So this I'm going to pass over to the young guy over here. he's gonna have to tell you what the kids are listening to.
So I had to do some deep searching for this one. I forgot the name of it. This is the song we always ran out to. It's kind of ironic. The title is Shooters.
Okay, all right.
We really weren't a great three-point shooting team this year. I think our bread and butter was really getting to the basket, drive and kick for mid-ranges. I don't know. We had a few guys that could definitely shoot the three ball, but Shooters was a song we ran out to every game, and they ran the same soundtrack every game. Player's choice, we left it up to them, and they never changed it. That's just what they wanted to run out to, so
right.
It worked.
So, good stuff.
You
Shooters.
have a question, Sean?
Yeah, so I wanted to touch upon, Ben, you going from player to coach. How difficult is it changing that mindset, especially coming off your first year?
Yeah, I like that question a lot. That's a really good question, just because I feel like I relate to the difficulty of that, not so much of changing my mindset, but the kids that I'm coaching. Our seniors this year were 8th graders when I was a senior on the Carver team. So not that we ever played together much, but, pick up in the town and stuff, and just knowing them, their older siblings, and there was always that little bit of connection. It's tough to make a change from, player or peer in their eyes to turning into their coach and having those kids really want to listen to you on the court. It's tough. You have to gain their respect, and I hope I did that with them this year, and I hope to improve on that next year.
Yeah. Sounds like you're holding them accountable, though. I'm hearing you talking, and the words are saying accountable and team, and you're holding them accountable. Yep. So I want to know, Coach, who did you have to beat first to get the job? Your dad, or did you? Who did you beat? Have you played, Coach? Have you had to play him?
One-on-one? I
don't think we've ever played one-on-one. He'd beat me now.
He'll beat me.
Yeah. 20 years ago, I might have got him.
You might have got him. Okay, all right. I just wanted to know. Throw that out there.
I've got another question here. Coaches, what was your favorite part about this particular team for the past year?
So there was a lot of, like I said, we had some ups and downs, but overall we had a really, really good season. And it was just in terms of wins and losses on the court. The Rockland game was probably our biggest win of the season, which was awesome. What I've always liked about coaching is seeing different groups of people come together and hang out and be part of a team. Mm-hmm. We had 13 kids on varsity and then another 14 on JV. And seeing those kids who all come from different little cliques and different areas and all from the same town, but from different backgrounds, all coming together for a common goal, that's always my favorite part
Yeah.
about team sports is building that. It was very very gratifying. Just on an individual award thing for it was great to see our seniors go out with a nice strong season. We had 3 seniors that played a lot of minutes. So Kevin Ginnity played varsity since he was a sophomore. He actually had a lot of injuries the last couple of years, which was too bad. Really strong player, but he's moving on after graduation to play soccer at Mass Maritime. He's going to have a great career, I think, there. So it was gratifying for him to wrap his season up, his career up nicely. Matt DeSisto was another senior who didn't play a ton last year as a junior, but really played well this year as a senior. Came back and was really a strong member of the team. That was awesome. And then one of our other seniors, Ed Ramsdale, he was our manager as a junior, and he wanted to try out and be a player, knowing that he wasn't going to play a ton of minutes. And we sat down with him and we were honest. We were like, Ed, you can be part of the team if you want, but you're not going to play a ton. And he's like, Coach, I just want to be part of the team, and that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So Ed went from being a manager to being a player, and Eddie scored a couple of threes towards the end of the season, and seeing those go in and the kids jumping around on the bench was probably one of the highlights. And then our senior captain, Charlie Condon, as I mentioned to you guys early, Charlie actually is being recognized tomorrow at the Mass Coaches Association breakfast for making the academic all-senior team, which is something I'm not sure we've had in Carver for a few years at least, if ever. So it's a really nice award for him, and he really embodies the student-athlete piece of being a high school athlete. Great kid, really going to miss him next year, and very excited to go to the award ceremony tomorrow for him.
That's awesome, man. That's real awesome. It's all about academics also. Sometimes kids forget about that, and if you keep that academics first, you can't play ball if you don't have those academics.
But it's funny. But I was talking to Tyler Lennox yesterday, who's probably one of our 2 best returning players for next year, and we were just texting back and forth. He's getting some looks for football, and he was like, Coach, I finally realized that I really need to finish strong this year academically to open up some different avenues for sports. And absolutely right. It's great when they realize that and really kick it into high gear in the classroom too. Yeah,
definitely. It's pertinent for them to get those grades. I didn't realize it at an age when I was in high school, and it will affect you if you do not have your grades, kids. If you do not have your grades, they will find somebody that does. And may be a better athlete than you, so and leave you behind, or may not be a better athlete than you, but they have those academics. So make sure you definitely get those academics.
Yeah, definitely.
Stay on top of them.
Yeah, so we have to take our second break. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM WARA. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, all one word, 4 Deep Sports Talk, and please call in at 508-222-1320. We are talking with the Carver Crusaders, South Shore League Division champions. We will be right back with more right after these messages.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk here at 1320 AM Attleboro. We are highlighting the Carver High School Keepers and more of my.
Crusaders.
Oh, okay. My bad there.
worries.
So my next question for you, Mark, is what do you think it takes to become an award winner?
Well, I think as I mentioned, I was really very happy to see that the panel of folks who were voting looked at a coach from a team that wasn't like a state championship winner, and so I think really having a group that recognized that it's very difficult to do what we did this year coming out of the South Shore League was great. And you know what? And the bottom line is it boils down to the kids too. We had some really talented kids this year, and we will for the next couple of years. So I think at the high school level, regardless of coaching, generally speaking, the teams with the most talented kids and the best kids usually end up winning. I mean, I think coaching makes a little bit of difference, but certainly having some talented kids was great this year.
All right, so I actually want to know, what advice can you give to the younger players that want to try out for the team someday?
Ben, let's start.
Yeah, I'll take this. We were talking about it on the way up here. Just not only come in as a good, like, all-around basketball player, know the game, have a smarts for the game, both sides of the floor. You know, kids nowadays like to focus on the offensive end, but you got to know the defensive side too. Not only just know how to play defense, but everything about it. There's so much, you know, in depth about defense that it just could be, you know, thought about practice for hours without a basketball. But not only that, basketball-wise, but just come in as a good person, a positive energy. You know, it's something that no team can get enough of, is kids that just come in with a positive attitude. And that's what a coach wants. That's what coaches look for. Kids that, you know, like we were talking about with the grades, you know, if you're right there on the cusp of, you know, being cut and you're going against a kid that might be a little better than you, but he has a worse attitude than the person that's under him, you're going to take the kid with a better attitude, because he's going to be positive on the end of the bench for the whole year. He's not going to sit, you know. And we had kids like that on our bench this year, and that's what really helped us to have a good record, have a good year. Those kids really didn't quit. You know, they came to practice, they got their chance throughout the year, and, you know, that would be my advice to the younger kids.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Van. And I think one of the things that a lot of parents and spectators don't understand is they just see the games, which is maybe, you know, a couple hours a week. We spend a lot of time together as a group. You know, we're in practice an hour and a half, couple hours a day throughout the course of the season. You know, you really need those positive energy people around you to keep things in a good place. Otherwise, it can be a grind. It's a long season. So I totally agree with Ben. You really want kids and people you want to hang out with. You want to spend time with and work hard with together. Just in terms of basketball, what I think younger players really need these days is really just fundamental stuff. You know, fundamental skills. Can they shoot? Can they dribble? Can they pass? Honestly, we can teach kids how to run an offense. That's not a big deal. By the time we get them, it's very difficult to teach them how to shoot. So it's, you know, have the fundamental skills, and we can mold that into a team. That's one of the things I really stress a lot in the town. If youth coaches are talking to me about, you know, what do I need to do? What offense do I need to run? Doesn't matter. Just get your kids ready to play. The more they can understand fundamental skills, you know, we can take it from there.
You guys have any more questions?
Yeah, I wanted to touch upon, you know, Carver being a smaller town, you know, coming from, you know, I'm from Brockton. And do you think that within coaching and tryouts and all that, do you think sometimes, you know, the kids that have been playing through like leagues and growing up in the city and knowing people and everything, do you think that sometimes has things to do with how tryouts can play out in the end sometimes?
Sure, absolutely, and you know, you're absolutely right. Carver is a small town, and one of the things that we really have to respect in the town, among the teams and among the coaches, is that multi-sport athletes are our bread and butter. You know, at a lot of the bigger schools, you might have kids who are just basketball players. and that's what they do year round. We don't have a ton of that because these kids are out playing. We can't really field teams at a lot of different sports without kids being multiple sport athletes. And personally, I think that's good for them anyways. We'll work with the football coaches, and we'll work with the baseball coaches and other teams to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're not burning kids out, and we're making sure that these the multi-sport athletes are ready to go. But yeah, absolutely, having the kids grow up together and basically play on the same travel teams. If you looked at our 7th grade travel team from 5 years ago, it's probably all of our seniors right now. They come up through the same travel team, through the same system. So they're usually very close by the time we get them.
And you think that plays a big role in the continuity of the team, right? You would say.
Absolutely, yeah. And like we said, sometimes it can be a bad thing because sometimes they're around each other a lot. And one of the things that when I was coaching freshmen. I had a bunch of 8th graders on the team who were also playing in-town rec league, and they were also playing 8th grade travel, and they were around each other, 7 days a week, and they did not like each other by the end of the season. So, you have to sort of balance, and you have to make sure you're looking at it from a coaching point of view, but also from a parent point of view too, having kids myself, and knowing that sometimes kids just need some time off, and they need to just go sit on the couch and watch football and do homework and do other things like that. So I think, understanding that is important too.
Right. It definitely does help that team camaraderie, though. Like you said, sometimes they get together and have dinner together, but they do need their breaks.
Yeah, no, there's no question.
Absolutely. So I want to ask you this year, won the league. What game, can set the team apart from the rest of the league that you knew, the big game, who made the last shot? Which one do you remember that you knew that, man, we're clicking, we're peaking right now?
There's a couple that stand out to me. Like I said, it was a really good season. So we had a lot of different moments, and one of the great things about this team, as you mentioned, Antron, too, is we did have one scorer who scored a lot more than anyone else, but we had a lot of balance. And on any given night, we had other kids who were stepping up and were really having great games.
Right.
So you're always happy for a kid who can come through and who is not playing a ton, and then all of a sudden gets some minutes and really does something productive.
Right.
For me, there was 2 games. Aside from the Rockland game that I've already spoken about, the 2 games that I thought were really were big for us was actually, one was a loss. It was Norwell at home. Norwell was really good this year. Really well coached team. They've always got a ton of talent. They were very, very good this year, and we knew it was going to be a very difficult game. And we actually jumped out to a big lead, and then they end up pegging us back. We end up going to overtime and losing in overtime.
Okay.
But at that point, I knew that we can compete.
Yeah.
We can compete with these bigger schools.
Absolutely.
And then beating Abington at home was really big for us. Abington has historically been one of the powerhouse teams for the last few years. Peter Serino does a phenomenal job over there.
Okay.
Bigger school. They get a lot of kids who are really talented players. And we played them at home, and actually, we beat them pretty good. And at that point, you're like, yeah, we can hang with anyone here. We can hang with anyone. Those are 2 of the games that stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Coach,
there had to be a good feeling, though. Like you said, the Norwell, you was like, you got beat, but it felt like a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good feeling. That's a great feeling. That's a great
On top
feeling.
of those games, I also thought Coach wasn't there due to a medical injury, but we had East Bridgewater at home. That game, I think we beat them by 30. We ran them out of the gym. I think we scored close to 90 points or something.
That feels good too.
We had a few. That was just a statement win.
Yeah.
And it was towards the end of the year. It was on our court. They came in, I think, 9-10.
Yeah, they did.
They had to win to get in.
Okay.
And yeah, we just ran them right off our home court, and that was really like everybody came together. It was just one of those games where you could just tell the kids were just kids having fun playing basketball.
That zone. They was in that zone, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
You're right. I like those wins. I want to whoop. I want to beat you. I don't like close wins. I want to beat you. I mean, those do feel good, like you say, when you're playing a team that you know that's good, and to get beat by them. But I like, look, it's not my fault that you didn't come to play. I'm you know what I'm saying? Because I have no sympathy for that. You know what I mean? But yeah, congratulations, like I said, man, to this win. I wish we had some of the guys here. I want to talk.
Well,
to the guys.
they're all they're busy this time of year.
Yeah.
This is a tough time of year. We got two of the players who we wanted to bring today. Two of our better returning players for next year. So Tyler Lennox. Tyler is our point guard, one of our captains, and Ty is a multi-sport athlete, so he's the quarterback of the football team. He had a very, very strong football season last year. Then came right into basketball, and he was a Ledger All-Scholastic and All-Star. And he led us in scoring like almost 17 points a game. Was really one of our leaders on the court. He had a very, very strong season, so it'll be great to have him back next year. But yeah, he's off doing a college visit today for football. And then JJ Grimes really had a phenomenal year for us last year. So JJ's had some really bad luck with injuries. He missed his whole year, the year before with a really bad knee injury, and it's essentially taken him 2 years to get back to where he should be. And he really had a breakout year for us last year. Awesome. He averaged about 12 points, 10 rebounds. 5 assists, 3 blocks. I mean, really good numbers across the board. And I'm really looking forward to see what he can do coming back. As it was first year being like really healthy coming back. He's put on some good weight in the weight room. I think he looks really good. And Coach saw him play AAU last week, and he's playing out in the wing with a really good team, shooting some threes. We think he's going to bring a lot of different dimensions to the team next year. So he is actually in Pennsylvania right now at an AAU tournament. So we were hoping they could both be here, but kids are busy.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach, let's do this, man. Let's win that championship again, and let's have this party again next year.
That sounds good, man.
Bring those guys in here, man. Sounds good.
So we have to take our last break. So you are listening to WARA 1320 AM 4 Deep Sports Talk. We will continue highlighting the Carver Crusaders boys basketball team right after these messages.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk. And Caleb here for the past week's softball scores. Starting us off here in the Bay State Division, Franklin and Walpole both won. Moving down to the Cape and Islands, Martha's Vineyard won. Also, Nauset also won. Now for the Catholic Central, St. Mary's and Whittier both won. Now for the Hockomock League, Franklin, West Bridgewater, Avon, and Avon also won. Now for the Mayflower League, Old Colony and Rockland. All right, now for the Patriot League, Pembroke and Hingham both won. For the South Shore League, Avon and Rockland also won, as well as Dover, Shoreborn. Last division, Tri-Valley, Norton also won. And now over to Justin here for the baseball scores.
Okay, so for baseball, we have in Base State, Latin Academy, Wesley, and Canton. In Capes and Islands, Sandwich and Barnstable, Sturgis West, Monomoy and Nauset. In Catholic Central, Xavier and St. John Shrewsbury. In Hockomock, Okomock, Oldmont, and Bishop Feehan. Mayflower, Cohasset. In Patriot, Hingham, Plymouth South and Plymouth North. In South Shore, New Bedford. In Tri-Valley, Norwood and Millis.
All right, so as I stop the music, we will continue on with some questions. So I wanted to ask you guys, who would you say is your biggest motivation?
I think for next year, our biggest motivation is can we do it again? All right. I think we took what we always talk about is can you take incremental steps and grow in the program, and can you get better every year? And better doesn't necessarily mean winning. It's can you grow the program incrementally? And I think over the past couple of years we've done that. And so we had three goals this season going into the season. One was to win the league. One was to make the tournament, and then one was to host a tournament game. So we got 2 out of those 3. We didn't get to host a tournament game, and that's what we were just talking about during the break, Antron, is that we come out of a very difficult league, and we are going to have losses. We're not going to run the table. So it's difficult to get a good seeding when you come out of a division like that. So we ended up just percentage points away from hosting a tournament game. And I think if we had hosted, tell me if I'm wrong, Ben, I think if we'd hosted Fenway in that game, we'd probably win that first round game, right?
Yeah, I wasn't there, unfortunately.
Oh, that's
but,
right.
Just from the environment, from talking to the coaches afterwards, it really felt like, if we did host that game, it would have went the other way. It was just more of a home court advantage type situation.
Yeah.
And, that'll be one of the goals next year we'll strive for.
And that's pretty much out of your control also. I mean, unless you're winning. You're at the top of the the seed or whatever.
Yeah, the power rankings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like you're in the SEC of basketball.
That's exactly. No, that's exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much out of your control if you're winning all the games.
Yeah.
But you had a good season. You won the league.
Yeah, I mean that will be I think our biggest challenge, our biggest motivation for next year is let's like you said, let's do this again.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. I'm ready. I'm already ready.
Yeah.
Bring those other guys.
So I think we made the tournament the season before, and which was great. I didn't think we really expected to. We made the tournament and we got blown out in the first round. This year we made the tournament and we had a really good close game in the first round. So next year the goal will be, can we take it a step further? Can we win 1, 2, 3 more games in the tournament? So that's what we're really going to be focused on for next year.
Yeah, brick by brick, baby, brick by brick.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I also have a question. How did hard work and practice translate to in-game success, and what drills helped?
Well, absolutely. I mean, again, I think a lot of folks who just come to the games just see the games, and it's that's not what it's all about. What really makes or breaks the team is how you handle those few days of practice prior to the game, and really making sure we maximize the time in the gym. That's what we always spoke about in practice was being efficient. So we didn't want to be in the gym for 2 hours every day or 2.5 hours. We tried to keep practices to an hour and a half, and actually towards the end of the season, hour and 15 minutes. But we always said we got to make it an efficient hour and 15 minutes. We've got to be working hard. We've got to be getting through what we need to get through, and get out of here and move on. So I think getting into a routine and making sure that everyone was doing what they needed to do in practice was really important, and that's what translates to success on the court during the games.
Yeah, I back that, second that. It's not always how long we go at practice. It's the competitive nature of it, and to your point about the drills, I always thought personally the success we had in practice was when we did competitive drills against each other, whether it was 3v3, 4v4, full game, competitive shooting drills, relay drill, whatever it was, whatever it got that competitive spirit fired up in the kids, and they'd be trash talking each other the whole practice. Sometimes it got a little out of hand, but
right. No, that makes it good, man. That makes it good.
We had some good trash talkers on the team.
Yeah. I know. I mean, that's the goodness, the good stuff. I know when in football, man, we get into fights. Like, do you know me? Are we friends? Like, it looked like we didn't know each other. And, but my coach would always say the 5 Ps, man. Preparation prevents piss-poor performance. I don't know if you can beat that, but preparation prevents piss-poor performance. The 5 Ps. So, preparation. That's what gets it. Preparation. And whatever's similar to game, the closest you can get to that game feel, that's what makes you better, man. If you keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. One of our favorite drills is just a 4-man shell drill where we would just go 4v4 and spread the floor out. And like Coach said, it gets very competitive. Not only are they working on defensive fundamentals, but we're also working on offensive stuff. But the kids really go at it in those drills, and they have fun with it. And they actually get mad when we don't do it because it's like, Coach, can we do shell drills? Yeah. So we'll throw that in there. And it's a really, like you said, it's bringing a game situation into practice that the kids can just have fun with.
Right. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. It's doing good. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So a little bit off topic from Carver. I just wanted to wonder, you guys, I'm assuming both watch Celtics. I just want to kind of see what you guys think going forward now that the series is 2-0.
Oh, man.
I know. I had to bring it up. It was on my mind, man.
That's where they're trying to get. Everybody wants to be a Celtic. Let's hear it.
I mean, that's when the Celtics are playing well, they're just super fun to watch. My personal feeling when the ball stops moving and they're settling for threes instead of going to the basket, they're tough to watch, and that's when they break down.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about that on the way up when Tatum had that 51-point game the other day. He started off going to the basket, and that's how I think he got his game established, and then was able to push out from there. So they're frustrating, but the good thing about a 7-game series is you don't have to play well every night. You still you've only got to play well 4 times out of the 7.
That's
so
it.
I think it's a tough road for them, but I think they're still in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could talk about it all day. me and my dad think we're Felger and Maz at the house, going back and forth. But just cut me off if I go too long. But I'll keep it quick. But coaching, like Coach said, taking it strong to the hoop. Settling for jump shots, they do all the time. It's tough for a home team to lose 2 at home, and that's my view on it. So I hope they can turn it around on the road, but it'll definitely a very tough series ahead.
Yeah, so when you were talking about the Celtics, it brought me to my next question. Who is your favorite NBA player and why?
Coach, you watch more NBA than me. Who you got?
Who is currently or was?
Whoever it is.
He's old school. He's going back. I know he's going back. He's going back.
He's an old soul. He'll probably go back.
Yeah, he said was, so now he's going back. I listen.
Yeah. Growing up, I liked Russell Westbrook when he was on the Thunder. He was just an animal. I liked Paul George when he was on the Pacers. Just so many good players. Currently, my favorite player on the Celtics, Jaylen Brown. I really like his game. He's really efficient, aside from last night. He had a tough game, but he's an efficient player, and usually he's smart with the ball in his hands. Sometimes he makes, poor decisions, but every player does. So
absolutely.
And I would go old school. I'd still go back to the Jordan days. Michael Jordan's still probably my favorite all-time player. Favorite player right now, probably Jokic. I love watching him play.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
Man. I thought he was going to go back a little further. He went to Russell Westbrook. I'm like, he's out of you, 19. But yeah, oh my God. But can I ask you this question? Do we have enough time?
We actually have to going, or I'm
It's all good. Hey,
sorry.
Next
you
time,
gotta
Coach.
do it. Next time. We'll play.
All right, so I want to remind everyone that is watching this episode. We will re-air next Saturday because we will be off because it's Memorial Day. So I we wanted to say like thank you guys for coming on the show.
Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
And
for having
thank
us.
you.
Yes, sir.
And thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next time on 4 Deep Sports Talk.